Hello and welcome to News 9 Facebook Live with me, Adarsh Vepachedu. Battleground Bihar is getting decked up for an intense face-off in what will be the first election amid a pandemic. The all-important assembly elections are slated to be held in 3 phases starting October 28th, November 3rd and the 7th. With just over 3 weeks remaining for the polls, what is the political scenario in the state looking like? As of now, seat sharing is being struck between various parties and things are only going to heat up from here on. While on one hand, Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar's Janata Dal United or the JDU and the BJP have reached a seat sharing agreement in principle with an almost even split. On the other hand, all components of UPA have come together as coalition for the Bihar Assembly elections in which Congress, RJD, even CPI and CPIM will be part of this alliance under the leadership of the RJD. But do things look great for the two major alliances? And more importantly, how will the political landscape of poll-bound Bihar pan out in the coming days? And what will be the driving issues this election season? To discuss some of these matters, we have with us Suresh Bafna, a political analyst who has been keeping a close eye on the developments in Bihar, joining us on the phone line. Many thanks, sir, for speaking to us. My first question is surrounding the NDA. While the BJP and JDU are very much together and will be fighting the elections together, what about the Lok Janshakti Party or the LJP, which is headed by Chirag Paswan? At this point in time, the latest inputs are suggesting that LJP is looking the other way. They're not too inclined to fight along with the JDU. But it is important for the NDA. And proof of that is that the Home Minister Amit Shah himself is directly in touch with Chirag Paswan even as we speak. What do you think will happen next and how important is LJP for NDA, and is Chirag Paswan harboring ambitions of becoming the Chief Minister, which is proving to be a little difficult for him right now?
See, definitely there is a problem in NDA in Bihar, and as things stand right now, Chirag Paswan is not accepting the leadership of Mr. Nitish Kumar.
Correct.
And he said that I am willing to have an agreement with Bharatiya Janata Party, but not with Mr. Nitish Kumar, and I am not willing to contest election in the leadership of Mr. Nitish Kumar. So there is a serious problem is emerging in the NDA, and definitely it is going to harm its political prospects. And then how the scenario will emerge is still very hazy. So it can be, and on the other hand, there is also opposition camps is also not very united.
Mr. Suresh, we'll come to the UPA aspect of it in just a bit, but talking a little more about the LJP, let's just say that Chirag Paswan does not really want to join with the NDA. How powerful do you think is the LJP on its own? How much of a say do you think Chirag Paswan has in the state of Bihar on his own without really falling back on any of the allies?
See, the Paswan is having its own caste-based following. So in that sense, he has a certain following, but not up to a point where he can win election independently. So that will be a problem for him if he fight the election independently. In that sense, it will be a problem for him, and it will be difficult.
It'll be problematic for the NDA also. It's almost like a double-edged sword that we're talking about. So again, talking about the BJP's loss when it comes to LJP not taking a part in the NDA, how much of a loss will the NDA have to face with LJP out of it?
See, there is I think there will be a loss because the large chunk of Dalit votes in Bihar is aligned with the LJP. So in that sense, if these votes get splitted, then definitely it will benefit the opposition and it will harm the NDA, Nitish Kumar and BJP.
Okay, so LJP in all likelihood will act as a vote cutter, especially for the NDA in case if the LJP were to contest on their own. Now, talking about the Grand Alliance, Suresh Bafna, there seems to be some sort of a cold war here as well between the Congress and RJD, if I were to really say that. While the two parties are together on paper, there seem to be no kind of talks between the two parties on how the seat sharing arrangement will really pan out. Do you feel all is well in the Bihar Grand Alliance?
No, I don't think everything is well in the Grand Alliance of Bihar in Bihar. In the sense that there is a problem of seat sharing between Congress and RJD.
Yes.
So in that sense, I think it is also very difficult. They will be able to put up a united face against Nitish Kumar and BJP. That is also a problem for this combination.
Okay. So, Mr. Suresh, it almost looks like we're coming to a point where Bihar is asking the question Nitish versus who? Because you're really seeing a very dispersed and a divided opposition, so to speak. And again, we're talking about a state where the opposition at this point in time really needs a very big face. And with no unity among the opposition parties, the big question really is Nitish versus who. But another aspect that I'd like to bring in to the picture, Mr. Suresh, interesting fact that I came across, until the year 1990, Bihar saw 21 Congress chief ministers out of a total of 28. 21 chief ministers out of 28. But after 1990, things seems to have drastically changed for the Congress. What prompted this switch, or rather, if I were to say, where did the Congress go wrong?
See, Congress is organizationally very weak in Bihar. And that is a big problem for the Congress party right now. And still, they could not able to organize themselves at the grassroots level. That is a huge problem for Congress party, not only in Bihar, in many other states also, they are facing this problem. They think that leadership only can win the election. I think that era is over right now. So they should not think that Rahul Gandhi could be able to win the election in Bihar.
Mr. Suresh, lastly, there are obviously a lot of poll issues, poll planks that we need to talk about, and several issues that the state of Bihar as a state is facing at this point in time, and several recent developments also that could in all likelihood change the course of the elections. Right from say job crisis, flood fury, to the new farm laws, and even the Sushant Singh Rajput case. What do you think will be the deciding factor this Bihar election?
See, the deciding factors will be the two factors, development and caste equations.
Right.
These are the two factors which will determine the Bihar assembly election results. The factors will be in the periphery. I don't think Sushant Singh Rajput issue will be dominating the Bihar election. I don't think so.
Okay, because it almost seems as if the BJP is going to make this a poll issue, the Sushant Singh Rajput case. And if they were to really bank on that, do you see the SSR case really playing a part, at least when it comes to the prospects of the Saffron Party, that is the BJP?
I don't think it can either benefit BJP.
It ideally should not. It ideally should not. But again, the reason why I'm asking you that is because you will definitely know as to what the grassroots level, the people on the ground are really thinking at this point in time. You could tell us as to, yes. The
Bihar election is principally determined earlier by the caste equation.
Right.
Now the caste equation will also play the role, but now the development is also one of the big issue. And Nitish Kumar is having a plus point on this account. And I think the leadership crisis in the opposition camp is also a big issue and big problem. So Tejasvi Yadav is not the right answer for Nitish Kumar.
Okay, Tejasvi Yadav is not the right opposition, not the right answer to Nitish Kumar, is what you're saying. Mr. Suresh, lastly, before I let you go, could the migrant workers issue also play an important role? Because again, it's an election that will be fought amid the pandemic. You're talking about a situation where lakhs of people from the state of Bihar who used to work across the country have now headed back to their home state, and they're not a happy lot, obviously, because they've lost their jobs. So how important is the migrant population, the labor class of Bihar who've now come back to their state? How important is that in the equation?
I think that will work against BJP.
Okay.
That will work against BJP, and BJP will find it difficult to get their support.
Okay. Many thanks indeed, Mr. Suresh, for joining us and for sharing your insights, shedding your light on how the political landscape in the state of Bihar is panning out at this point in time. There you have it. Alliances are being stitched up, but not very comprehensive ones. There's obviously one side that will have to lose and one side that will have to win. It is just really beginning to heat up, and we shall keep you updated as to how the alliances, the seat sharing arrangements in the state of Bihar really pan out, and whether all really works out in the favor of the NDA, because you really have the incumbency factor also that will weigh in come Bihar election. So yes, we shall keep a close tab, and we shall bring you the latest when it comes to how Bihar really pans out ahead of the poll season. If you've liked the information that we've shared with you, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to News 9 on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Many thanks for joining us.